Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're tackling the growth mindset.
Ooh, a popular one.
It is, but we're going deeper.
Deeper than just you can learn new things.
Exactly. We're looking at how it affects, well, everything, your career, relationships, even how your brain physically changes.
Now, that's what I call a deep dive. We always talk about growth mindset, but it really does have huge effects.
Right. Like I was reading about how it can actually change your brain.
Oh, yeah, neuroplasticity. It's your brain's ability to, make new connections.
Hold on. Neuroplasticity. That sounds serious. So it's not just like positive thinking, there's actual science.
Absolutely. They did brain scans, and people with a growth mindset, their brains are more active in the learning areas.
Really?
Yeah. And they're better dealing with mistakes, which, let's be honest, we all make them.
So someone with a fixed mindset, they might avoid challenges because they're scared of messing up.
Right. But a growth mindset person sees those challenges as, brain-building exercises.
Yeah. I like that. So how do we actually use this? Should we be looking for hard stuff to do on purpose?
Not just difficulty for the sake of it. Think about what you want to get better at, and then practice strategically.
Got it. Intentional practice, not just going through the motions. And I remember the source material mentioned the power of yet.
Ah, yes. It's like a magic word. Instead of, I'm bad at this, you say, I'm not good at this yet.
Yet. So simple, but it changes everything.
It does. You're telling your brain, hey, I'm on a journey here.
I'm starting to see how this is way bigger than just a nice idea. It's like a whole new way to approach learning and growing.
It really is. And it applies to everything.
But what about when we hit a wall? How do we stay growth-minded when we mess up or even fail?
That's where self-efficacy comes in. It's basically believing in your ability to handle stuff.
Okay, believing you can succeed, but how does that help when you're feeling down?
It's like having a mental toolkit for those tough moments. Tools to help you bounce back stronger.
Okay, I like the sound of that. What kind of tools are we talking about here?
Well, one is called cognitive reframing. It's about changing how you see the situation. Instead of, I messed up, it's, what can I learn from this?
So instead of beating yourself up, you're looking for the lesson, the next step.
Exactly. And that, my friend, is pure growth mindset in action.
It's like turning those oops moments into fuel for growth.
Exactly. You're not focused on the problem, but on the solution. And that shift in thinking is key.
That makes sense, but sometimes those setbacks can feel huge, even if we try to see them differently. What else can we do to boost that belief in ourselves? That, what was it again?
Self-efficacy.
Right, self-efficacy.
Well, another powerful tool is mindfulness. It's about being present without judging yourself.
Mindfulness, I hear that a lot these days. It's like hitting pause on all the mental noise, right?
Exactly. When you create space between your thoughts and reactions, you get more control over how you respond.
Instead of freaking out, you can choose a better way to deal with it.
You got it. And that helps you stay in that growth mindset, especially when things get tough.
It's like building mental muscle to stay calm and focused, even when you want to give up.
Absolutely. And don't forget your support system. Surround yourself with people who lift you up.
The power of the tribe. We talked about that before, but it's not just about adding positive people, right? It's also about recognizing the negative ones.
Absolutely. Think of it like trying to grow a flower in a field of weeds.
Oh, I like that. So it's who we let in close, but also the messages we're taking in from social media, the news, even ourselves.
You got it. And speaking of ourselves, that brings us to self-talk. It can either help or hurt us.
Okay, so we got to be our own cheerleader, not our own worst critic. But how do we actually change that negative voice in our heads?
Well, one way is to catch those negative thoughts and challenge them. Often, they're based on old beliefs that aren't even true anymore.
You mean I'm not good enough or I'll never be able to do that, those kinds of things.
Exactly. And once you see them, you can start replacing them with more positive and helpful thoughts.
And that's where those affirmations come in, right? Instead of just repeating nice phrases, we're actively fighting those negative thoughts.
Precisely. It's a 1-2 punch. Weaken the bad, strengthen the good.
Creating a more supportive inner voice. So it's all connected. Challenges, resilience, self-talk, and of course, goals.
Goals. We all have them, but sometimes they feel impossible. A growth mindset helps you set goals that are exciting but also realistic.
So instead of feeling overwhelmed, we break those big goals down into smaller steps.
Like that saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Every little win keeps you going.
I love that. It's not about being perfect, it's about the journey and celebrating those small victories.
And that, my friend, is how you fuel a growth mindset for the long haul. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
This has been amazing. We've covered so much.
Mm.
how our brains change, how we talk to ourselves, how we lead others. It's way more than just a self-help buzzword.
It really is a whole new way of looking at life, at everything.
But before we wrap up, I'm curious about something. We've talked a lot about how the growth mindset benefits us personally, but what about how we interact with others? Does it affect that too?
Absolutely. It shapes how we see and treat other people. It's about connection, not competition.
So someone with a fixed mindset might be judgmental or see others as rivals, while someone with a growth mindset is more open to learning from different perspectives.
Exactly. With a growth mindset, you see others as sources of knowledge and inspiration. You're curious, even if their views are different from yours.
That sounds like a recipe for much better relationships, both at work and in our personal lives.
You got it. It's about genuine connection and understanding, which is so important in today's world.
This has been incredibly insightful. We've only scratched the surface, but I'm already seeing how powerful this concept is.
The best part is, it's for everyone, regardless of where you're starting from.
So true. And before we move on, I just want to remind everyone that we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes. Share your insights on social media using hashtag #DeepDiveGrowthMindset. Let's keep this conversation going.
So we were talking about self-efficacy, that belief in yourself.
Right, like knowing you can handle things, even when they get tough.
But aren't there times when even the most positive person feels, discouraged?
Oh, absolutely. Setbacks happen. It's normal to feel down sometimes. But self-efficacy isn't about never having doubts.
It's more about having ways to deal with those doubts, right?
Exactly. It's like having a mental toolbox full of strategies to help you bounce back.
Okay, I'm liking this toolbox analogy. What kind of tools are we talking about?
Well, one of the most powerful tools is something called cognitive reframing.
Reframing.
Yeah, it's basically changing how you view a situation. Instead of "I failed," it's "What can I learn from this?"
So instead of dwelling on the negative, you're looking for the positive, the takeaway.
Exactly. You're shifting from problem to solution. And that's a huge part of the growth mindset.
It's like those setbacks become opportunities to learn and grow, kind of like fertilizer for your brain.
Love that. You're getting it.
Yeah.
But I know sometimes those setbacks can feel really overwhelming, even when we try to think positively.
Totally. So what else can we do besides that reframing thing?
Right. Well, another really helpful tool is mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
Yeah. It's about being present in the moment without judging yourself.
Oh, mindfulness. I've heard a lot about that. Isn't it kind of like quieting the mind?
Exactly. It's like hitting the pause button on all those racing thoughts and worries.
So you can see things more clearly without all the mental noise.
Exactly. And when you can do that, you get more control over how you react to things, especially those tough situations.
So instead of just reacting emotionally, you can choose a more thoughtful and hopefully more helpful response.
You got it. It's like building that mental muscle to stay calm and focused when things get crazy.
Okay, this is making a lot of sense. Reframing, mindfulness. It's like we're building a whole arsenal of tools to deal with setbacks and keep that growth mindset strong.
I like that. An arsenal of tools. And don't forget one of the most important tools, your support system.
Right, our tribe. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with the good and try to limit the bad.
Exactly. It's like if you're trying to grow a beautiful flower, you don't plant it in a field of weeds, right? You give it the best possible environment to thrive.
Wow, that's a great analogy. So it's not just about who we let into our inner circle. It's about being aware of all the messages we're taking in from, social media, the news, even our own thoughts.
Yes. And speaking of our own thoughts, that brings us to another crucial piece of the puzzle. Self-talk.
Self-talk. So how we talk to ourselves, right?
Exactly. And, it can either be our best friend or our worst enemy.
Right. It's like that little voice in our head that's constantly chattering away. Sometimes it's super supportive and other times not so much.
Exactly. And the tricky part is a lot of times we don't even realize how negative our self-talk is. They're like those automatic thoughts that just pop up without us even trying.
Like, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be able to do that.
Yeah.
Those kinds of thoughts.
Exactly. Those are the ones we need to watch out for. But the good news is we can learn to change those negative thought patterns.
Okay, so how do we do that? How do we become our own best friend instead of our own worst critic?
Well, one powerful technique is to actually identify those negative thoughts and then challenge them.
Challenge them.
Yeah, like put them on trial. Ask yourself, is this thought really true? What evidence do I have to support it?
So instead of just accepting those negative thoughts as fact, we need to question them, see if they hold up under scrutiny.
Exactly. A lot of times, those negative thoughts are based on old beliefs or experiences that are no longer relevant. We're basically running outdated software.
That's a great way to put it. Outdated software. So we need to upgrade our thinking, install some new, more positive beliefs.
Exactly. And that's where affirmations come in. They can be super helpful for rewiring those negative thought patterns.
Affirmations, those positive statements we repeat to ourselves. But it's not just about repeating them mindlessly, right? We need to actively challenge those negative thoughts and replace them with something more constructive.
Exactly. It's like a 1-2 punch. Weakening those negative thoughts and strengthening those positive ones. We're basically creating a more supportive and empowering inner dialogue.
I love that. Creating a more supportive inner dialogue. It's like we're becoming our own best coach, cheering ourselves on every step of the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that inner coach plays a huge role in helping us set and achieve our goals, which is another key piece of the growth mindset puzzle.
Goals. Now we're talking. We all have things we want to achieve, dreams we want to pursue, but sometimes it feels like those goals are just, out of reach. How does a growth mindset help us actually achieve those big, audacious goals?
Well, a growth mindset helps you approach goal setting with a sense of possibility and a willingness to embrace challenges. It encourages you to set goals that stretch you, that push you outside your comfort zone.
So instead of setting those safe, easy goals, we should be aiming higher, setting our sights on something that really excites us, even if it seems a little scary.
Exactly. And a key part of that is breaking those big goals down into smaller, more manageable steps.
Right, because sometimes those big goals can feel so overwhelming, like climbing a mountain. It's much easier to focus on taking one step at a time.
Exactly. And each step you take, each small win you achieve, reinforces your belief that you're capable of reaching the summit. It builds momentum and keeps you motivated.
I love that analogy. It's not about being superhuman or achieving instant success. It's about embracing the journey, celebrating those small wins along the way, and trusting that eventually we'll reach our destination.
Beautifully said. And that's what the growth mindset is all about. It's a journey, not a destination. And it's a journey we can all choose to take.
This has been so eye-opening. I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. Embracing challenges, building resilience, cultivating positive self-talk, and setting those big, audacious goals. It's like a whole new framework for approaching life, for becoming the best version of ourselves.
It is. And the best part is it's a journey that's available to everyone. Regardless of your age, your background, your current circumstances, you can choose to embrace a growth mindset and unlock your full potential.
That's an incredible message. And it's a perfect reminder that personal growth is an ongoing process. It's not about achieving perfection. It's about continuously striving to learn, to grow, to become a little bit better each day.
Absolutely. And, as we continue on this journey of growth, it's important to remember that we're not alone. We're all in this together.
That's right. We're all part of this amazing tribe of growth-minded individuals supporting and inspiring each other along the way.
And you know what? Speaking of support and inspiration, we'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this deep dive into the growth mindset?
Exactly. What resonated with you? What insights did you gain? Share your takeaways on social media using the hashtag Deep Dive Growth Mindset. We're excited to hear from you. It's fascinating how something like mindset, something we think of as so personal, can actually affect how we interact with others.
It really shows that growth isn't just about individual achievement. It's also about building those positive connections and creating a culture where growth is valued.
That makes me think about leadership. Can a growth mindset affect how we lead and inspire others?
Absolutely. Leaders who have that growth mindset, they create environments where their teams feel comfortable taking risks, learning from their mistakes, and just constantly developing their skills.
So it's less about the leader being the expert and more about creating a space where everyone can learn and grow together.
Exactly. And when you shift that leadership style, it can have a huge impact on how the team performs, how innovative they are, and even how satisfied they are with their jobs.
Makes sense. When people feel safe to try new things, share ideas, and learn from each other, they're probably way more engaged and productive, right?
Right. But how does a leader actually put this into practice? Are there, specific things they can do?
One of the biggest things is modeling that growth mindset themselves. Admitting when they make mistakes, asking for feedback, and showing that they're always learning too.
So it's not about acting like you have all the answers. It's about being real and showing that it's okay to not be perfect.
Exactly. That kind of authenticity builds trust. And when people feel safe, that's when real growth can happen.
I love that. It's leading by example, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk.
And when that happens, it can have a ripple effect throughout the entire organization. People start to communicate better, collaborate more, and they're not afraid to tackle those tough challenges.
This has been such an incredible conversation. We've looked at the growth mindset from all these different angles, how it affects our brains, our self-talk, our relationships, our leadership. It's really powerful stuff. It is. And the best part is, it's a journey that anyone can start. No matter who you are, where you come from, or what you've experienced, you can choose to develop a growth mindset.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to share a quote from the source material that really stuck with me. It said, "The greatest gift you can give yourself is the belief in your own ability to grow and evolve."
I love that.
Oh.
And remember, your potential is limitless when you embrace the power of the growth mindset.
Thank you so much for joining us on this amazing journey of exploration. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please share your takeaways on social media using hashtag #DeepDiveGrowthMindset.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in your incredible potential. We'll see you next time.